Why is communication the most underrated superpower in the country? But what is the biggest myth that parents have about good education that needs to be busted?
His father was a cancer patient. The mother was a maid. He would spend the whole night sitting beside his father. I started receiving Facebook compliments, Facebook comments from students.
Indians have a bad name that they don't know how to, walk on the roads or cross the roads or follow the rules of the country. What is one superpower that people can use if they want to be happy and successful in their life?
You can win the world if you have good communication skill.
Hello everyone. In India, everyone wants to learn English. चाहे स्कूल में हो, कॉलेज में या नौकरी की तैयारी में. Speaking English is very important for everyone. But here is the irony. We've been teaching English only through written tests and making students learn grammar rules. That is the problem that we have been facing. ना हमने बोलना सिखाया, ना सुनना. That's where today's guest made a revolutionary difference. She believed that English is not just a subject, it's a skill. And a skill needs to be practiced. Student could recite rules of grammar but couldn't introduce themselves in English. That's where today's guest made a revolutionary change. She changed the classrooms all across the country that we call India. Today we have with us Miss Nilima Sharma. As a teacher, a school leader, an education officer, a consultant with CBSE, and later as Associate Vice President with Trinity College London, Ms. Neelima Sharma transformed the classrooms of India. She helped CBSE launch the assessment of speaking and listening skills. We are so fortunate to have you here with us, ma'am. I welcome you.
Thank you so much, Rajni. It's my pleasure to be here with you, talking to you about English. Thank you so much.
And students, stay with me till the end because after every segment, I'm going to ask Neelima ma'am for one superpower, one success mantra. And all of us need those mantras to be happy and successful in life. And Nilima ma'am has such a vast experience of a lifetime of not just our country, India, but also internationally. And we are going to take advantage of her experience. So stay with me till the end. Ma'am, let's begin with something that every student and teacher in India wants to know. Why is communication the most underrated superpower in the country?
Well, I'll say that it's not underrated, but rather its prominence is a very complex issue with its advantages and disadvantages. You know, English is a global language, everybody recognizes it, and it's used for upward mobility, for career opportunities, and the communication skills play a very important role in English language. So I would say it's not really underrated, but it's, and it has its disadvantages in the sense that sometimes it overshadows the native language.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. You led CBSE's flagship project, Assessment of Speaking and Listening Skills. So, what made you push for that kind of reform?
You know, my long experience of teaching in the school, right since 1971, I realized that we were focusing mainly on reading and writing. And in the name of speaking, we were just talking about oral communication, and that was reciting a poem in the class, which was hardly any communication. And therefore, that thought kept nagging me. So in I think 2011, when I had joined CBSE, with the leadership there and their support, we thought of launching a program of assessment of speaking and listening skill. Whatever we, as the pedagogy says, whatever is tested, you teach in the class. Skills, oral skills were not tested in the class. And hence, speaking and listening was, it went into the background. And no teacher bothered about the oral skills in the class. And our effort was from CBSE to launch this project so that at least speaking and listening could be assessed in the classroom as well as in the final evaluative examination. For that, we had to work very hard.
I was part of the team, so I totally understand what you are saying. I mean, it was your initiative that led to this kind of transformative journey. So I'm sure all the teachers and students who have studied post 2012 are grateful to you, because now it is a part of regular classroom. Since speaking and listening is now assessed, it is also being taught in the classrooms. So every student, no matter if it's a government school student or a public school student, knows how to introduce himself or herself, is able to talk in the language, simply because he is studying in a CBSE school, and CBSE now assesses speaking and listening. So, ma'am, how did students change before and after these interventions? Any story that has stayed with you of the transformation that you brought about?
Well, this was a very huge, I'll say a massive project. You know, now CBSE has about 27,000 schools all over India and 240 schools outside India.
Mhm.
And the government schools constitute a major portion of those schools.
Mhm.
And the government school students have always been at a disadvantage where they were unable to
Mhm.
speak English.
Right.
Learn English is a different thing, but
Mm.
speaking English is a different thing.
Mhm.
So our push was from CBSE
Mhm.
to just introduce this
Okay.
practice in the classroom
Mhm.
with different classroom strategies,
Mhm.
so that teachers could be trained, students could be trained,
Mhm.
and the main point was that students should not hesitate to speak a foreign language,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
English as a
Mm.
foreign language.
Mhm.
It should come naturally to them. So this was the push which made me
Mhm.
which made me drive this project through,
Mhm.
or you
Any
know.
any any special story that you can think of? Any pushback that you might have received? Um,
Well, we had, introduced this project from CBSE in collaboration with Trinity College London, and they are the masters in the world for assessment of English.
mhm.
And they were very kind to collaborate with the CBSE and train our teachers,
Mhm.
about 1,000 teachers all over India. So their modus operandi was first train the teachers, then out of those teachers, take out the master trainers.
Mhm.
The master trainers were trained. They went out all over
Country.
places, country,
Mhm.
and you were one of them. And you trained, so many teachers all around.
Mhm.
And this disseminated in the classroom.
Yes.
How, classroom formation,
Mhm.
how group work can be done in the classroom, how to manage a large classroom
Mhm.
in an Indian class.
Classroom setting. Yes.
Like in Delhi, I have been in Delhi,
Mhm.
and I have seen schools in Simapuri, North Delhi,
Mhm.
where there were 110 students in one of the schools.
Mhm.
This is, I'm talking about 2010.
Yes.
And it was difficult to teach anything,
Mhm.
but through group work,
Mhm.
that was taught.
Yes.
And the success rate, I would say,
Mhm.
was tremendous. It
Yes.
was heartening.
Yes.
TCL, Trinity College
Mhm.
London,
Mhm.
they conducted an impact study.
Yes.
And this impact study studied the effect of ASL
Mhm.
for that was there for 5 years,
Yes.
4.5 years actually.
Mhm.
And the result was overwhelming,
Yes.
in the sense that students' self esteem raised considerably.
Yes.
Their confidence was tremendous.
Yes.
And that was our reward.
Yes.
And teachers also felt that they were achieving something.
Mm.
Their skills were being enhanced in the class.
Okay.
And they were so motivated that you are still there with the project. I mean, you are one of them,
Yes, yes.
still motivated in the
Yes, it
school.
was a transformational
It
journey.
was a transformation.
And not
Yeah.
just for the students but for the teachers involved also. So
Yeah.
it really helped us deal with the classroom setting in a better manner, because it wasn't just about communication, it was also about how to manage your class, how to, like you say, how to give group work, how to encourage students to collaborate, how to think creatively. So all those 21st century skills, although that's not how they were labeled, but they became an innate part of our classroom at that time.
Yes.
So, ma'am, now is the time for sharing our mantra. So, what do you think is the one mantra that everyone should practice? What is one superpower that people can use if they want to be happy and successful in their life?
Under this project, the ASL, the Assessment of Speaking and Listening Skills, what I have been saying, and it's my firm conviction that good, effective communication skills in English as well as in any other language is the first mantra in life.
Mhm.
You can win the world if you have good communication skill. But if you are full of knowledge, full of information, and you cannot express yourself,
Ji.
then I think it's useless.
Thank you so much. It's so important. In fact, that reminds me of that beautiful song, Words. It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away. So, chahe career ho, chahe relationships, words can make you win hearts and win positions. So, ma'am, you spent more than 20 years in classrooms, then moved to school leadership, then also moved to being a policy maker. Then, what was the biggest mindset shift that you experienced in all that?
It was my strong realization that we needed training and constant monitoring, constant mentoring by the authorities, because I felt stagnation was leading to rusting, and even in teaching, even in the classroom teaching. So, with the surging of information technology in 1980s and 90s, I felt that training of teachers was imperative. And this led me to, train my own teachers in the zone as well as in the district. And we didn't, call any teachers or trainers from outside, but we picked up from our own schools, our own principals who were good in a particular subject to train their teachers, to prepare modules and train the teachers accordingly. So that was a big boost in the zone, and also in raising the standard of the result which we are so bothered at the end of the
Ji,
term.
ji, 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 ji.
So that was it.
Yes. So, ma'am, you also help build a smart school right from scratch. And so, what was your vision for that school, and how did it actually unfold?
This has a long story again. I would have students whose hands will be yellow, and I'll ask them, why have you, come so late in the school with your hands yellow in color? They say, ma'am, we went to the market and loaded a truck with, with preserved bananas, about 200 dozens of bananas that were loaded. So he would load those bananas, and for every 100, he'll get 20 rupees. So, but he had the fire in him to study in this school. He came to Pratibha Vikas Vidyalaya. This was one of the smart schools in 2001 that was established by Delhi government, Delhi directed. It was a marvelous, feat by the directorate. And such students were admitted. There was another student who used to come from Safdarjung Hospital. His father was a cancer patient, the mother was a maid. He would spend the whole night sitting beside his father, and early in the morning he'll come running to the school, sometimes late, sometimes on time, sometimes in time. But again, he had the fire in him to learn. So, for this kind of fire, this kind of, enthusiasm to learn, to have good education,
Mhm.
these schools were created, established out of the existing schools only. The best teachers were, selected to
Mhm.
be there, who were dedicated. The number of students was limited
Mhm.
in each classroom,
जी.
so that individual studies
Hmm.
and attention could be, taken care of.
जी.
And when I, just reflect back, I
Hmm.
see
Hmm.
out of these two students, one is in now Singapore,
Okay.
another is a project manager in an MNC in Delhi itself,
Oh, lovely.
and a girl went to Japan in one exchange program.
Yeah.
And then the girls kept going, girls and boys kept going to Japan and Paris in collaboration
Hmm.
from these schools.
जी.
So this was something which was heartening,
Mhm.
and I felt as if I was doing something great
Mhm.
for education. This
जी.
was my take.
So, ma'am, you also worked as an education officer. We call it deputy directors of education now. Uh, what was your journey there like? How did you build trust with principals and stakeholders who were not really very trusting or involved into the process?
Rajni, I always considered myself to be one of them
Mm-hmm.
because I had risen from their ranks only.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was one of them, I always treated myself as one of them, though being a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always a conscience that I went by.
Mm-hmm.
I supported them
Mm-hmm.
without being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever a head of a school decided for
Mm-hmm.
the welfare of students in
Mm-hmm.
his school,
Mm-hmm.
I fully supported. And I sought support from the department also.
Mm-hmm.
And I must say that Directorate of Education at that time
Mm-hmm.
really supported my move.
Mm-hmm.
Be it, purchasing of, furniture,
Mm-hmm.
be it buying books for the library, training teachers, whatever it was, I was fully supported. And I feel that since my efforts were towards welfare of students,
Mm-hmm.
nobody minded that, and everybody, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't judgmental at all.
That's so nice. And in fact, that brings us to our second mantra, ma'am. So what do you think, from this experience of your life, what will you say is the second most important thing that you learned that our viewers should also learn, and that would help them be happy and successful?
There are always two voices in one's personality.
Mm-hmm.
So one voice always tells you what you are, what are you doing
Mm-hmm.
to yourself, to your society. And if a second person or a third person judges you,
Mm-hmm.
it brings the morale down. You might be happy if you're complimenting somebody, but at times you become so critical
Mm-hmm.
that it lowers the self-esteem of that person. And
जी.
I never wanted that.
जी. जी.
I always believed in, raising the self-esteem of a person,
Yes.
whether it was a teacher, whether it was a safai karamchari,
Mm.
whether it was a peon in the school, whether it was my director or deputy director.
Mhm.
It was always like that.
So your mantra is always pay compliments and never criticize. Am I right, ma'am?
Absolutely right. You may, give a sandwiched
Feedback.
feedback,
Uh,
but then
uh,
it has to be, the upper layer and the lower layer
mm,
has to be a positive one.
yes.
In between, it can be a suggestion to
Yes.
improve.
Yes.
We all have shortcomings.
Ji, 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 ji,
So,
ji. Thank you so much. So, ma'am, after CBSE, you moved to Trinity College London. You joined them as Associate Vice President, and you brought assessment of speaking and listening to Delhi. So, how did this project come about?
I was very keen that my government school students, because my roots were in the Delhi government students,
Mm.
so I was very keen that students speak fluent English
Mm-hmm.
in the government schools. And this was one, compelling idea to introduce this.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the Directorate of Education, brought out this project on spoken English.
Okay.
And this had two parts. One was train students during summer vacation in spoken English
Mhm.
and assess them at the end of 50 days training or 60 days training. So there were some agencies that were hired, international agencies that were hired by the directorate
Mhm.
for training students in spoken English. And we from Trinity College London, we decided to assess the students.
Okay.
And we prepared one full module and the format for assessment. And teachers went around, our examiners went around
Mhm.
and assessed about 4,000 students all over Delhi.
Mhm.
And we brought out a report. And again, the report's success rate was very high. It had its lows and its highs both,
Mhm.
but the highs were more than the lows. And it continued for 2 years, two academic years.
जी,
So
जी.
it continued for actually 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe still they
Mhm.
are continuing with this project.
Mhm. So, ma'am, due to this project, you saw real change on the ground. Uh, so, what do you think? What was the most important change that you noticed in the students when you went around observing the classes and the assessments?
Again, the same change was there, that it was the self esteem, the confidence of the students
Mm.
was really high.
Mhm.
I mean, they got their own identity. Yes,
Yes.
we also believe.
Mm.
And they were very proud to
Mm.
be part of the Directorate of Education,
Yes.
studying in a government school.
Mm.
And the best part was that I started receiving Facebook compliments, Facebook comments from students.
Okay.
Instagram was at that time not very popular.
Yes.
So students did not do
Mm.
much on that, but
Mm.
Facebook was very popular,
Mm.
and that too in English.
Oh,
So
love.
that was a real success at that time.
That's so nice. So during COVID, you led, training with Punjab government teachers. So what was the hardest challenge, and did the teachers surprise you sometimes?
So with the success of Delhi government and the teachers training, etc., we thought of doing this project with the Punjab government, and the secretary in the Punjab government, they invited Trinity College London to conduct a program.
Mhm.
And since it was a COVID time, we couldn't move from one place to another.
Mhm.
So we conducted this online training
Mhm.
with 42 teachers, I remember, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
And they were, spread in the 26 districts of Punjab.
Mhm.
So we trained them for 25 hours
Mhm.
for 10 days, 2.5 hours every day. And again, I mean, we still have WhatsApp groups where we keep, getting their messages. Ma'am, I tried this. Ma'am, we tried that. Ma'am, we tried this in the classroom.
Yeah.
So it was the practicing teachers who were helping
Mhm.
their own students speak in the class. And their own English in turn was also improving. That was success.
No, that's so lovely, because till about a few years ago, teaching was a very lonely profession. So it's very heartening. I mean, I'm a practicing teacher myself, and it's very heartening when teachers are able to collaborate and share ideas and talk to each other about what worked in the classroom and what are the kinds of innovations that the others can try also. So I'm so thankful to you also for introducing us to these ideas.
So this was mainly collaboration and teamwork that inspired us to work for this.
Yes.
And I think these are 21st century skills which indirectly we were following.
Yes. So, ma'am, now time for our third mantra for our viewers. Your mantra for success.
Creativity and teamwork,
जी,
very important things.
जी, जी, जी.
Instead of,
Hmm.
copying from Chat GPT or Gemini or any other source,
Hmm.
it's your own, creativity that comes to the fore.
जी. Especially, with the coming of AI, a lot of people keep thinking that their jobs will be taken by AI, or they will not have any work to do. So, what do you think, ma'am, about this?
It is your, how you view something in a critical manner.
Hmm.
That's one. Number two,
Hmm.
how creative you are And what is your discerning power? How do you discern from right to wrong what you require? Information is out there,
Mhm.
it's in abundance.
Ji.
So, what you need to cull out from there and what you need to assimilate, that's very important. And there lies your potential.
Ji. Ji.
And that comes from your own creativity, your own innovation, your own innovating, ideas that you bring in. That
And
is a mantra.
so you are the superpower. Uh, So, ma'am, with the changing world, uh, students are changing, education is changing. What is one thing you wish that teachers know and realize about students today?
Teachers need to understand these days that information is already there.
Mhm.
They don't need to give that information.
Yeah.
What they need to teach students is how to learn, how to relearn, and how to unlearn.
Ji,
It
ji.
can vary its position,
Yes.
but that is very important.
Ji, ji, ji.
And along with that,
Mhm.
how to apply that knowledge in everyday life.
Mhm.
And I'll consider one of the biggest thing that students must learn is a value of civility in life. Very
Very
important for personality grooming, for developing personality
Mhm.
with learning skills in life.
Mhm. So, ma'am,
So
what do you mean by civility? Because,
civility is, how you conduct yourself in
Mm.
society,
Ji.
how 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 much you obey the rules
Mm.
laid
Mhm.
by the authorities all around.
Ji,
What
ji.
are your own principles that you are working on,
Mm.
that you are standing? And how much brain are you using, your
Mm.
own brain are you using? And not being swayed by, anybody else, whether
Ji.
it may be parents
Ji,
or
ji.
it may be authorities, it may be your boss, it may be your
Mm.
siblings, it may be anybody.
Ji, ji, ji. Ji.
What you think is right,
Mm.
which is logical
Mm.
and analytical, supported by,
Mm.
reasoning,
Ji.
that should be taught to the students.
Ji, ji. So that's what my next question to you is about also. That what is the biggest myth that parents have about good education that needs to be busted? Mm.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, I'm also a parent,
Mm.
and my, myth was that my son, becomes an engineer and gets a good package,
Mhm.
a fat package.
Yes.
That is one.
Mm.
But now I realize it is the life's values which are very important.
Ji,
Ultimately, they help you survive in
ji,
today's world.
ji, ji. Very important.
Mm.
And also, when you talked about civility, I mean, it really struck me that how, as citizens, we are considered, our behavior is considered one of the lowest in the world because we don't know how to behave internationally, no matter where you go. And Indians have a bad name, that they don't know how to walk on the roads or cross the roads or follow the rules of the country. So I think that is also one thing we need to focus.
And it is something which is, from inside.
Yes.
Nobody can impose it on you. It
Mm.
is from the parents that needs to be imparted to the students.
Mhm.
I see my own, daughter
Mhm.
who's a senior government officer. She spends her evenings in, working with her kids,
Mhm.
completing the homework, completing the project work.
Mhm.
Well, that's not education actually.
Mhm.
Students have to do it on their own.
Yes.
They should know how to do it.
Mhm.
Teachers should teach them how to do it and not consider anything which is from the market or which has been done by the parent
Yes.
as something meritorious work that has been brought to the class.
Yes. Very important.
Hmm.
So, ma'am, you have been on the other side of the table also. As a policy maker, what do you think our policymakers should really prioritize if they want real change in education?
Very important is applied knowledge. Yesterday, I was just looking at one a linear equation
Mhm.
and I couldn't solve it. And I thought I was, doing my 10th class work. But then I reflected.
Mm.
I said, why am I doing this? Where is it applicable for me now? at this stage.
Mhm.
So it's more the functionality and the applied
Mhm.
knowledge which is very important. And parents and teachers must, emphasize on that. What you learn today,
Mm.
it has to be applied in life every day. So these are the skills those have to be taught.
Yes. And ma'am, now time for our next mantra, mantra for success and happiness. Mm.
Skill based education,
Yes.
very important. Develop your skills.
Mhm.
Even if you have to, put a nail
Mm.
on a wall, fix it a nail,
Mm.
you should know how to do it.
Mm.
Whether it is fixing the negative or the positive wire,
Mm.
you should know how to do it.
Mm.
Physics principles will work here, but
Yes.
then how to do it, that has to be, taught to the students.
Once I think one of the biggest problems that our education system have is this only, that people will be able to recite the principles of physics but will not be able to apply them. So
Right.
you are absolutely right, ma'am. So wherever you are, whichever class you are studying in, whichever level you are studying at, develop your skill and ask yourself, which skill are you developing today? Okay, ma'am. Now ready for some fun rapid fire round?
Yes.
So, ma'am, your proudest moment in 30 years of teaching?
This was the day when ASL was rolled out by CBSE all over India.
That I think I would agree with.
Mhm.
Uh, a training session that you would never forget?
I'll never forget one training session in Thrissur in Kerala
Mhm.
where I had 567 participants
Oh my God.
sitting in one hall in a very humid, condition.
Yes, yes.
And with fans, though, were working,
There were no
but
AC.
there was no AC at that time.
Oh my God. But their desire for learning was so great that they were ready to
I
come.
know. They were so keen.
Yes.
And I kept receiving questions after questions. I said, Bas karo bhaiya, bahut ho gaya.
Ji. Okay. So, ma'am, any one skill every teacher needs to have in 2025?
Be one of your students, be one amongst them.
Mhm.
Only then you can learn and understand what they are these days. What do they think about themselves?
Yes.
And how can you improve them then?
Yeah, it in the traditional classroom, the gap between the teacher and the students was a lot, but now society has totally changed. So, if not education, what would you be doing?
$1 million question. I would be, cooking and opening a North Indian cuisine restaurant.
Ma'am, and it's going to be very popular, I can tell you that.
I
I have.
love cooking. I love teaching or open a school. And I still teach students.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, time for our, final success mantra. So, what do you think that would be? Um,
That's, keep updating yourself.
mhm,
The knowledge is there, information is there. The world is changing at a very fast pace.
mhm.
With the onset of AI these days, it's very important to keep updating yourself. Otherwise, you will be archived very soon.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your vision from curriculum to classrooms to finally, building students' confidence. It has been such an important journey and such a transformational journey also. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much, Rajni,
Mhm.
for giving me this opportunity
No,
to talk to you.
it was
Thank you.
our honor. And to our viewers and listeners, if you found this talk heartening, then do comment, do share your thoughts. We would look forward to your feedback.